Welcome to another Daily Dose of Greatness Quest. Today's episode is shot in Phoenix, Arizona. It's a video episode, so I'm carrying around my little baby on my chest like a mini-me. And we had a layover on an airplane last night. And I wanted to talk about, today's episode is going to be about going cheap and what actually when you're trying to save a buck and go cheap, how much it costs you in the long run. All right, I know you're going to love the show.
Cowboy.
Welcome to a daily dose of greatness quest with your host Trevor Crane, my daddy. He is going to help you take your life and business to the next level.
Here I come to save the day.
Trevor Crane here, 11-time #1 best-selling author and the founder of Epic Author Publishing, coming to you live every day so you can plug in every day to build your ideal business so you can live your ideal life.
If my daddy can do it, then anybody can do it because he's a weirdo.
You're supposed to make me sound cool.
So, like I said, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm carrying around my mini-me with me. I keep calling him that, as if anybody understands what that means. It's he's 6 months old. Not today, but like a few days ago. And I'm sitting in front of a place I've never been. Actually, it's the Arizona Lottery. And I remember growing up with the idea of the Arizona Lottery. And every once in a while, I'd convince my parents, or when I finally had some money myself, I'd buy a lottery ticket for $1. And being back in Arizona reminds me of I was never more broke than when I was in Arizona. Maybe that's not true. When I filed my bankruptcy, that was the most broke I'd ever been. But I grew up in Arizona, and we grew up poor, and I ended up always trying to find a way to have what I wanted. When I was a little kid, I started stealing because that was my path. And by the way, I ended up in jail for doing something like that, so don't do that. That stealing kind of sucks. And the good thing, I've told that story before for those people who have been to real prison, and I spent one night in jail. They laughed at me like, oh my God, I can't believe that you actually cared that much about it. But I was such a wuss that it scared me straight. So it was like the best thing that ever could have happened to me. But it's reminding me of being back in Arizona and being on this layover. Like we flew in from Tampa to, we're going to San Francisco. And instead of going direct, because oftentimes the flights there don't go everywhere direct, we had to fly on a layover. We had to have a layover in Phoenix, and we had a delay with the plane in Tampa, and then we had a cancellation of a flight in Phoenix, and then they put us up in a hotel. And this is the second or third time we've had delays on American Airlines here lately, where we've had to spend a long time in the airport, or we've had to be massively inconvenienced about a time. We lost a day in the Bahamas that we would have spent because of just airplane delays. Now that happens, but it makes me realize, let me just set this down for a second. It makes me realize how often I still use the pattern, or still run the pattern, of trying to save money and go cheap. And I realize that every time I'm doing that and I'm going cheap or trying to save money, it costs me in the long run. And I just started doing the math on all the different things where it cost me. Just to do this trip, we ended up, we have to hire a rental car. So to save a couple of bucks, we prepaid. I think it was like we saved $18 to prepay the rental car, which makes total sense. Except for when we were delayed here, it ends up costing us more because now we are having to pay for the rental car for a day that we actually can't use it. And this has come up time and time again. Like, what would it have cost us? An extra $100 to fly direct? I don't know. I don't know exactly what the flights are. Sometimes you can't do that. But time and time again, I used to, and I still do, will spend a lot of time trying to save a buck. And that's cool. Like, I grew up with that mentality. Like, I didn't have a buck. So if I was going to buy a new pair of shoes, or if I was going to buy this baby Bjorn, or whatever it is that I'm going to buy, I want to get the best deal on it. But all too often, there's a significant amount of time that I spend, definitely in the past, trying to do a workaround and save a buck. And if you think about how, like I did an episode recently of me cutting down my palm trees, or cutting the palm fronds off my palm trees. It took me 5 hours to do the job by myself. And I've grown up with this mentality that if something needs to be done, I can do it. Which I think is really cool because I can do it. You know, but is it the best use of my time? And I have found, like, if you hire a cheap coach, you get cheap results. You know, you get results. Well, you don't get results is kind of the thing. When we hire the cheap car, it's the car that breaks down. And when I've tried to, it's not like everything you have to spend a bunch of money on, but it is important to make sure that you buy quality instead of just trying to always get the best value. And how oftentimes I will still run the pattern of trying to just save $1 and have it cost me a significant amount of time and money just to go ahead and work hard to save money. And how much better it is oftentimes when we buy the best, and how much better it is when we're willing to pay a little bit more to save time, which is our most precious resource. I mean, too often times I think I don't want to spend the money on the item, the thing, and it would be the smartest thing to do. So my quick question for you today is to consider, where in your life are you actually trying to go cheap? And do you have this cheap person's mentality, looking at the Arizona lottery there, to go ahead and try to gamble, to go ahead and say, you know what, because I think the lottery is the biggest freaking ridiculous scam ever. Here's why I think the lottery is a total scam. See, you can do absolutely nothing to control your destiny. It's built on the premise of nothing but hype. Look at this. Look at the signs behind me. Nothing but hype of you play the Crazy Eights to win up to $50,000. The entire premise, the entire money-making scheme is built on put a couple of bucks in, and then hopefully you'll get lucky and you win. Isn't it exciting? You can do nothing, control it, and it's based on the premise that most people will lose. And look, this whole building is dedicated to it. And I think that it is a lie that we need to constantly be trying to get things as cheap as we possibly can. I'm not saying that we should waste our money. That's not it. And when you're broke, and I've been there, you know, it's something like that's easy to say. It's easy to say when you've got money that you should be able to spend it. Like, that is very easy. I would just challenge you, if there's not a money, if you've got money, then invest a little bit extra to get the best. And it'll save you so much more and give you so much more result. If you don't have money, then figure out where it's smarter to go ahead and spend your time. And that's my challenge for you today. Whether you got a money issue or a time issue, and you've got both, by the way, we all do, just where you can better spend your time. And look around to see where you are potentially gambling or using a scarcity mindset. I don't know what the stats are, but I think almost every lottery winner, not every, but the huge percentage of people that win the lottery end up blowing all their money. And I've seen it personally. I've got friends, actually I've got family members of mine that have inherited money, and then because they didn't earn it, they ended up losing it all. So I think that happens with lottery winners. That happens with people who don't understand money. And quite frankly, I'm just here to share with you and acknowledge that I still run the pattern of wanting to try to save a buck and go cheap, and I think it costs me massively. We're going to spend a day in the hottest place on earth, which is Phoenix, Arizona. It's hot out here right now. Okay, it's not the hottest place on earth, but it's hot. All because we wanted to save a buck. I don't know if that's exactly accurate. My wife would probably tell me, no, Trevor, we picked the best flight because we live in Tampa and we can't go direct everywhere. That may be, I don't know. But see where you can properly invest your time to get the greatest result. That's all I got for you today. I'm trying to keep this baby up. He's been up with me since about 5 a.m. It's time to try to maybe put him back down. Make today magnificent.
To get even more awesomeness, which means all my best stuff, download my app by texting Trevor to 36260. It will show up right on your cell phone. Just text message the word Trevor to 36260. Talk to you soon.